All right, let's just jump right in. We all have it. We live inside it every single second. But what is consciousness really? Is it just that voice in your head? The one that's talking right now? Well, the source material we're looking at today suggests there's something so much deeper, a whole other dimension that's waiting for us just beyond all that mental chatter.
Just let that one sink in for a second. Consciousness is not what you think it just is. This right here, this is our starting point. It's hinting that real consciousness isn't something your mind does, it's a state you can be in. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack in this explainer.
So this slide really lays out the two different worlds we can live in. Over on one side, you've got the thinking mind, the constant self-talk, the noise, what's even called a state of unconsciousness. But then look at the other side, pure being. We're talking stillness, silence, awareness, truth. Our whole journey today is about figuring out how to get from that first column over to the second. To really get a handle on this idea of pure being, we first have to pull back the curtain on the place most of us are stuck in day to day without even knowing it, and that is the trap of the unconscious thinking mind.
Yeah, this probably looks pretty familiar. This is the inner landscape for a lot of us, right? The mind is just this endless stream of chatter, and what's fueling it? Well, as our source points out, it's all these heavy hitters. The ego always trying to defend itself, that old accumulated pain from the past, our anxieties and fears about what's next, that constant feeling of wanting something more, and of course, anger. It's like having a radio station in your head that you can't turn off.
And here is the absolute key. When we are completely lost in that noise, when we truly believe that we are that voice in our head, we're living in what the source material calls an illusion. It's a version of reality that's been completely filtered through our thoughts, which, let's be honest, are often pretty warped and almost never connected to what's actually happening right now.
Which naturally leads us to the big question. If all that mental noise, all that drama isn't who we really are, then who are we? This question is the turning point, the moment we stop looking at the problem and start moving toward a pretty profound solution.
So let's do it. Let's explore that alternative to the thinking mind. Let's talk about this deeper, quieter, and incredibly powerful part of us that's referred to as our inner being.
The way in, the front door to this inner world, is stillness. Now, it's so important to get this right. This isn't about forcing your mind to be empty. It's about noticing the space between your thoughts. That little gap of silence, that's the doorway. It's right there, in that quiet, that you can connect with what's called the inner body and tap into a kind of wisdom that has nothing to do with thinking. And once you start finding that stillness, you begin to experience something called presence. This is that feeling of being completely 100% right here in the now. You're not replaying the past, you're not stressing about the future, you're just here, alert, awake, aware. And that's the only place your true being actually exists. And really, at the very heart of both stillness and presence is awareness. This is the essence of you, beyond all the labels and thoughts. It's the silent listener, the quiet observer that just watches the mind do its thing without getting swept away by it. And the biggest insight here is that this isn't something you do, it's what you already are. It's the feeling of consciousness itself.
Okay, so this all sounds amazing in theory, but how do we actually do it? How do we make that shift from the noisy mind to the peace of presence? Well, luckily, this isn't just a philosophical idea. It comes with a direct, practical, step-by-step method to get there.
And here it is, a simple 5-step process. Let's walk through it together. Step 1, just identify your thinking. That's it. Just notice, oh, there's that voice in my head again. Step 2, you accept the thoughts, but without judging them. Just let them float on by. Step 3, you actively choose to stop engaging. You create a tiny gap of silence. Step 4, you take your attention out of your head and feel the energy inside your body. And finally, step 5, you just breathe deeply and allow that feeling of presence to bubble up from within. So what happens when you actually practice this on a regular basis? Well, your whole world starts to shift. You're no longer the prisoner of your thoughts. You become something totally different. You become the knowing watcher. Man, what a powerful idea. You start to realize that you aren't the thoughts, you aren't the emotions, you aren't the sensations. You are the silent space, the awareness that allows all of those things to happen. You're the one who's watching it all.
So what's the bottom line? How does this actually change your life?
Well, when you're looking from your mind, you're seeing everything through this muddy filter of the past and the future, right? And you're trapped in these old automatic reactions. But when you look from presence, you see reality with this crystal clear vision, just as it is. And that lets you respond with actual wisdom and peace, instead of just reacting on instinct.
And this really is the ultimate goal. It's not about getting rid of thinking forever. I mean, we need to think. It's about learning to bring that silent, conscious awareness with you into your everyday life. So you can still think, you can plan, you can act, but you're doing it from a place of deep knowing and wisdom, not from a place of fear or ego.
So, we'll leave you with this one last powerful question from the source material to chew on. The next time you hear that voice chattering away in your head, just gently ask yourself, who is it that's listening? Who is it that's watching these thoughts? The answer to that question? Well, it just might change everything for you.